The arena was silent, except for the distant hum of energy fields. The crowd suspended above in transparent observation pods, thousands of eyes trained on the center where the human stood alone, clad in nothing but simple armor that had seen better days, and the princess, high above on her ceremonial dais, laughed, sharp and melodic, echoing through the chamber, her voice carrying effortlessly a taunt designed to humiliate, to test, to show that nothing human could ever match what the galaxy had built. She gestured with a delicate hand, motioning to the arena floor, a space designed for warriors, titans, and champions of legend, massive structures that could crush lesser combatants instantly, walls that shifted and reformed at the whim of the arena masters, traps that tested reflex and cunning, and yet, she looked at him as though expecting only fear. Curiosity mingled with amusement. The human, Elias Kerr, glanced around calmly, taking in the geometry, the mechanisms, the energy flows, as if calculating something far beyond what anyone else noticed. The crowd murmured, some with anticipation, some with derision. The princess leaned forward, resting her chin on her hand, her eyes narrowing. "You really think you belong here, human?" she called down, her voice carrying both mockery and challenge. He looked up at her, expression relaxed, almost amused, and replied, quietly, "I am here, aren't I?" That alone earned a ripple of laughter from the pods, because no human had ever spoken so without deference, and certainly not to royalty. She raised an eyebrow, a signal that was more than gesture. It was command. The arena reacted immediately, the floor sections shifting, walls rising, barriers moving in synchronized pattern to isolate, intimidate, contain. The air shimmered with defensive energy, and yet he remained at the center, arms relaxed, breathing steady, eyes scanning every movement with a predator's patience. The first trap descended, a massive weight from above, designed to crush anything beneath. Most combatants would have leaped instinctively, reacting without thought, yet Elias stepped slightly to the side, foot planted with perfect balance, the weight smashing into the ground behind him, dust and sparks erupting. The crowd gasping collectively. The princess clapped slowly, lightly, mocking, so easily avoided. "Human," she said. The next test followed instantly. Walls rotating, emitting energy pulses calibrated to melt armor and cauterize flesh. Dozens of lethal implements, converging in complex timing sequences. Opponents had died here in seconds, yet he moved, precise, deliberate, each motion minimal, efficient, dodging pulses that would have destroyed mechanized warriors, sometimes weaving between hazards with movements that seemed impossible. Spectators leaning forward, realizing the performance before them was no act. Varel, the arena's chief overseer, watched from the control balcony, frowning. Adjustments made too quickly. Nothing in their simulations accounted for a human moving like this. Energy consumption rates, reaction times, reflex latency, all of it violated. Calculations crashing in real time. She whispered under her breath, "No one survives this." Yet he did, and the crowd felt the change before understanding. Tension rippling, disbelief spreading. The princess raised her hands, signaling the next challenge. Twin columns emerging from opposite sides of the arena, glistening with kinetic energy, designed to crush anything in their path. Most champions would pause, calculate, fear. The human, however, shifted his weight slightly, eyes narrowing, and launched forward, intercepting one column with a punch that sent it careening into the opposite wall, energy dispersing in a blinding flash. The chamber shaking, minor ceiling panels dislodged, the crowd gasping. He did not pause, momentum carrying him as he slammed into the second column. It twisted, bent, systems overloaded, sparks cascading. The arena trembling under forces that should have been catastrophic for a human frame. And still he stood, standing tall in the center of destruction, breathing steady, chest rising and falling evenly, expression calm, almost bored. The princess's laughter faltered. The first crack in her amusement. "You are stronger than you look," she said, voice measured now, no longer fully taunting. He met her gaze, simply. "I look like me." She inclined her head slightly. The arena reacted again, walls shifting violently, floors splitting, energy filaments forming traps that moved faster than any human had ever been calculated to respond. Spectators ducking, shields raising, simulations screaming danger, and yet he moved, weaving through impossible openings, punching, kicking, dodging, every motion precise, lethal, calculated. Each strike of his fists against energy barriers produced shockwaves, debris flying, minor structural panels collapsing, alarm bells ringing throughout the arena, engineers scrambling to stabilize, and still he did not slow, he did not hesitate, he did not yield. Varel's data displays struggled to compute the force output, each hit, each movement, exceeding human benchmarks by factors previously considered impossible. The crowd, leaning forward, witnessing a human rewriting the rules of combat in real time. The princess's eyes narrowed, her amusement replaced with curiosity, fascination, something almost dangerous. She rose fully, gesturing again. More traps, more hazards, greater energy flows, the chamber groaning under the strain of the arena systems, and yet he moved through them all. A living engine of strength and precision, bending the environment around him with brute force and calculated skill. Each strike producing vibrations that ran through the floor, walls, and the observation pods above. He caught the edge of a rotating energy barrier with one hand, twisted it like metal, redirected its momentum into another trap, entire sections of the arena groaning, shifting, the princess leaning forward, eyes wide, the first flicker of respect crossing her expression. No one had ever done this, no opponent, no champion. None of the legends displayed in holograms in the control rooms. Yet here, a single human was unmaking their masterpiece of death. The audience, thousands strong, fell silent in awe. No longer laughter, no longer mockery, only the realization of something extraordinary, that humanity, this lone individual, was performing feats no one had expected, bending reality as it had been calculated, not through magic, not through technology, but through raw physical power, skill, and will. Every move precise, every strike purposeful. The energy field trembled under each impact, the arena itself groaning like a beast in pain. The princess's voice broke the silence, sharp, melodic, daring. "Do you even realize what you are doing, human?" He looked at her, expression unchanged. "I am doing exactly what is required." She blinked, and for the first time did not laugh. She gestured again, signaling the final test. Massive, near impossible in scope. Walls of pure energy collapsing inward from all directions, traps designed to crush, burn, and overwhelm simultaneously. A kill zone no human should survive. He stood still for a fraction of a second, eyes scanning, then moved, faster than the eye could follow, leaping, striking, redirecting, punching openings, bending barriers, energy flares rippling from his fists, as if the arena itself rejected his defiance. Walls cracking, floors shattering, support columns bending, debris raining, the chamber shaking violently, and still, he did not fall, did not slow, did not hesitate, a living force reshaping the space around him. The princess leaned forward, stunned, the audience screaming in awe, data screens exploding with warnings and impossible force calculations. Every engineer, every observer, every spectator, realizing they were witnessing something that defied every assumption, every model, every limit ever placed on a human. She opened her mouth to speak, but words failed. She had taunted him, mocked him, assumed he was ordinary, and now, the very arena was crumbling beneath his demonstration of godlike strength. The arena trembled under his presence, each footfall sending vibrations through the floor that reverberated into the observation pods above. Spectators gripping their rails, some white-knuckled, some wide-eyed. The princess watched from her dais, curiosity warring with indignation. She had taunted him, believing this human to be ordinary, a plaything for her amusement, and now the very ground seemed to bend under his defiance. Elias moved through the chaos with fluid grace, calculating each hazard, redirecting energy flows, striking panels, walls, and barriers with measured force, not blindly smashing but controlling, shaping the environment around him. The arena's systems groaned, warning alarms, screaming futilely, engineers scrambling to stabilize systems that were already failing under his assault. Every movement a testament to the power contained within a single human body. The princess leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Never had she seen such control, such discipline, such precision. She gestured sharply, summoning the next wave of trials. Columns of kinetic energy rose from the floor. Spinning walls of plasma erupted from hidden conduits. Ceiling panels dropped with mechanical precision. Yet he moved through it all, faster than any sensor could track, deflecting, bending, smashing, the arena struggling desperately to contain him. He caught a spinning barrier in mid-air, twisting it with hands and shoulders, redirecting it into a column of plasma, the resulting explosion sending a shockwave that rattled the outer walls, panels dislodging, dust and sparks scattering across the arena floor. The crowd erupted in a mixture of fear and exhilaration, gasps and cheers echoing through the chamber, the princess's laughter absent now, replaced by silent fascination. She had underestimated him. Another test came immediately, massive rolling spheres of pure energy, designed to crush and burn simultaneously. The sort of challenge no champion had survived before. Elias leaped into their path, striking one with a fist that sent it careening across the floor, pivoting to intercept another, punching, dodging, weaving, each motion a study in efficiency, lethal grace, his body moving faster than calculations could predict, bending the limits of what humans were supposed to endure. The floor beneath him cracked, panels buckling, energy filaments sparking wildly, the arena itself complaining under the strain. And yet, he moved through it with calm precision, eyes scanning, calculating, correcting, balancing, redirecting, as if the destruction was merely another tool to be manipulated. Spectators leaning forward, holding their breath, realizing that this human was rewriting the laws of combat in real time. The princess's voice cut through the hum of chaos, sharp and melodic. "Do you even understand the power you wield, human?" He glanced upward, expression steady. "I understand what I can do, and what I must." Her eyes flickered with a mixture of frustration and awe. She gestured again, signaling the arena for the final challenge. Massive energy walls converging, spinning blades, collapsing floors, and traps that moved unpredictably, a labyrinth of death no one could survive. He paused only a fraction, studying the pattern, then moved, faster than anyone could follow, leaping between collapsing floors, redirecting spinning blades with bare hands, punching energy conduits, sending shockwaves that shattered support beams, the chamber quaking violently, sparks cascading, walls cracking, the arena shaking as if trying to throw him off balance. And yet he remained, calm, collected, unstoppable. A living storm of calculated destruction. The princess's hands clenched on the rail of her dais, disbelief flickering across her features. She had underestimated him, assumed his body ordinary, his skill limited, and now she realized that this human was something far beyond legend, not only surviving but controlling, shaping, manipulating, the very forces designed to kill him, bending the arena itself to his will, the crowd silent in awe, witnessing a human surpass every expectation. Elias leaped onto a crumbling platform, striking a control panel that redirected energy barriers, causing massive shockwaves, debris raining, the arena shuddering, walls splitting, a roar of power escaping from him as he punched a spinning energy column, sending it careening into another trap, the combination tearing a section of the floor open, flames and sparks shooting upward. And still he did not pause, did not falter, his movements deliberate, precise, unstoppable. The princess gasped softly, leaning forward, her amusement gone, replaced with fascination. He was not a human to mock, not a challenge to amuse. He was a force, an embodiment of raw power, control, and will. The arena designed to kill had become his stage, every obstacle an instrument to demonstrate what one human could do when ordinary assumptions were shattered. She realized then that this was no longer a contest. It was a revelation. Another wave of hazards descended. Kinetic blades spinning, energy fields pulsating, traps that should have ended him instantly. Yet he moved through it all with deliberate calm, punching, redirecting, dodging, leaping, each motion precise, each strike producing shockwaves that rattled the arena, the floor, the walls, the very observation pods above. The crowd holding its collective breath, realizing that they were witnessing something unprecedented. The energy walls converged, the final test, designed to crush, incinerate, and overwhelm simultaneously. Elias paused for only a heartbeat, scanning, calculating, then moved, faster than the eye could follow, striking panels, redirecting flows, bending barriers, the arena quaking under his assault, sparks and debris flying, support beams twisting, floors buckling. And yet he remained, standing, unbroken, a single human against a chamber designed to destroy him. The princess leaned forward, her hands gripping the edge of the dais, eyes wide, disbelief and fascination mingling. She had taunted him, mocked him, assumed he was ordinary, and now, she realized, she had been wrong. This human was extraordinary, not because of technology, not because of weapons, not because of magic, but because of raw power, skill, and will, bending the arena itself with his strength, reshaping death into a display of dominance. He stood in the center, energy flares cascading around him, debris scattered, walls cracking, floors broken, and the crowd erupted in awe, screaming, cheering, holding their breath. The princess silent, staring, her amusement replaced with something else: respect, recognition, fascination, and a flicker of fear. The arena that was supposed to humiliate, to punish, to test, had been shattered by a single human, and now the truth was undeniable. Elias looked up at the princess calmly, chest rising and falling evenly, eyes steady. He had survived, he had dominated, he had rewritten the rules, and for the first time, she realized that the human she had taunted was no ordinary opponent. He was a force, a storm, a godlike presence, and the arena itself bore witness to the power contained within one human who refused to be defeated. The arena trembled as Elias stepped back from the center, surveying the destruction he had wrought, dust and sparks drifting lazily in the air, panels bent and broken, energy conduits smoking, structural supports groaning under stress, the crowd leaning forward, some shielding their eyes from the cascading debris, others simply unable to look away, the realization spreading through every observer that what they were witnessing was no ordinary human performance. The princess, still perched on her dais, sat forward, her hands resting lightly on the edge, eyes narrowing as she studied him, the amusement she had felt at the beginning replaced with a mixture of disbelief, curiosity, and an unfamiliar spark of respect. She had taunted him, assumed him weak, a plaything for the arena's tests, and now she understood that her assumptions had been catastrophically wrong. She could sense it in the tremors of the arena, in the shifting energy fields, in the sheer force radiating from his body. Elias moved again, this time with a deliberate pace, walking toward the next section of the arena that had been prepared for the more dangerous trials, the walls shifting in anticipation, kinetic blades spinning, energy fields pulsating in patterns designed to overwhelm and confuse. And yet he approached each obstacle with calm precision, analyzing trajectories, timing flows, and striking with force that shattered barriers rather than circumventing them, the arena struggling desperately to contain him. The first challenge in this new section was a pair of spinning walls, embedded with energy filaments, rotating rapidly, designed to crush anything caught between them. Most combatants would have hesitated, calculating probabilities, factoring risks, but Elias moved decisively, leaping, twisting, striking the walls with fists that sent shockwaves through the ground, redirecting their momentum into energy columns, causing sparks and minor explosions, panels buckling, floors cracking under the force, and still he remained unharmed. The crowd gasped collectively, leaning forward, unable to comprehend the precision and raw power before them. The princess's eyes widened as she gestured sharply, signaling more challenges, more hazards, yet he did not falter, moving through each one with a fluidity that was almost unnatural, dodging, redirecting, striking, bending the arena itself to his will, every motion deliberate, every strike precise, the energy system screaming in protest under his assault. Another set of hazards descended from the ceiling, massive spheres of plasma and spinning blades, designed to crush and incinerate simultaneously, the kind of threat that had ended dozens of champions before him, and yet he met them head-on, leaping into their path, striking them with calculated force, sending them careening into walls and other hazards, sparks and debris flying, shockwaves rattling the floor, the crowd silent in awe, unable to grasp the reality of what a single human was accomplishing. The princess leaned forward, her hands gripping the railing, astonishment flickering in her eyes. She had mocked him, assumed he was ordinary, yet now she realized that this human was extraordinary in a way that defied all expectation. Raw strength, precision, intelligence, and unyielding will combined in a single body, reshaping the arena around him, destroying challenges that had been calibrated to kill, not just survive. And the thought unsettled her more than she would admit. Elias paused for a heartbeat, surveying the remaining hazards, then launched into the next challenge, a series of floors that shifted unpredictably, collapsing beneath weight, rising to crush anything above, energy fields oscillating in patterns designed to trap and incinerate, and yet he moved through it seamlessly, leaping from one collapsing section to another, striking energy panels, bending kinetic barriers, sending shockwaves through the arena, the structures straining under forces no engineer had anticipated. The audience erupted again, voices mixed with gasps, cheers, and disbelief. The arena itself groaning as if protesting the impossible feats being performed within it. Varel and the other overseers struggled to keep control. Alarms blaring, simulations crashing, calculations failing, all attempting to predict the impossible, the unthinkable. The raw human power that now dominated the arena. The princess leaned forward, face pale, realizing that Elias was not just surviving, not just enduring, but controlling, manipulating, shaping the arena itself with his strength. Every motion calculated, every strike precise, bending the environment to his will. The very mechanisms designed to test, punish, and destroy now serving as instruments for his demonstration of godlike power. And she felt a thrill of fear mixed with awe. The next test escalated further, walls of energy converging, spinning blades forming unpredictable patterns, floors collapsing in sequences designed to trap and crush simultaneously. The crowd holding its collective breath, engineers scrambling desperately to stabilize the systems, and yet he moved through it all with calm precision, striking barriers, redirecting energy flows, leaping across collapsing floors, sending debris flying, shockwaves rattling the observation pods, all without hesitation or pause. Ilias's movements were almost artistic in their efficiency, each strike and dodge producing ripples of energy and debris that shattered the arena's mechanisms. The princess watching in stunned silence, her amusement and mockery completely vanished, replaced with a recognition that this human was beyond anything she had ever imagined, a living embodiment of strength, skill, and will, capable of bending the environment itself to his purpose. A massive spinning blade descended, aimed to cut through armor and flesh alike. Most champions would have dodged or fallen, but he intercepted it with his forearm, striking with precision and sending it spinning into a wall, causing sparks and minor structural damage, the arena trembling with the impact. And yet he moved forward, relentless, unstoppable, his eyes scanning, calculating, predicting, every step deliberate, every motion lethal and precise. The princess leaned back slightly, a flicker of admiration crossing her features. She had underestimated him, assumed he was ordinary, a trivial challenge, and now she realized that this human was extraordinary, beyond all measurement, raw strength, intelligence, control, and will combined in a single body, capable of defying every expectation, bending the arena itself to his will. And she felt a mixture of fear, fascination, and something she could not name. Another series of hazards appeared. Spinning walls, energy beams, collapsing floors, kinetic traps designed to overwhelm and destroy, and yet he moved through them all, striking, dodging, redirecting, bending the environment with each blow, shockwaves rippling outward, debris raining, the arena trembling under the sheer force of his actions, the crowd silent, awestruck, realizing that this human was rewriting the rules of survival, combat, and power in real time. The princess's voice finally broke through. Sharp, melodic, daring, human. She called down, "Do you even realize what you are capable of?" He looked up at her calmly. "I know what I am capable of, and what is required." The words carried with calm certainty, and for the first time, the princess did not speak further. She simply watched, realizing that her taunts had become irrelevant, that the human before her had transcended every expectation, every calculation, every assumption. He moved through the final section. A labyrinth of collapsing floors, spinning blades, energy walls, and kinetic hazards, striking with force that sent shockwaves through the arena, bending barriers, redirecting traps, shattering obstacles, every motion precise, deliberate, unstoppable. And still he advanced, calm, collected, godlike in his execution, the arena trembling, sparks flying, the crowd holding its collective breath in awe and disbelief. The princess leaned forward, hands gripping the railing, pale and wide-eyed. She had mocked him, assumed him ordinary, and now she realized the truth. This human was extraordinary, beyond comprehension, bending the very arena to his will, destroying every obstacle, surviving every hazard, reshaping the impossible into demonstration. And she understood that her challenge had been meaningless, for he had already proven what one human could do when ordinary assumptions were shattered. Elias stood in the center of the final section, energy cascading around him, debris scattered, walls cracking, floors broken, the crowd erupting in awe, the princess silent, staring, disbelief and fascination mingling. She had taunted him, mocked him, assumed he was ordinary, and now the truth was undeniable. He was a living storm, a force, godlike in strength, control, and precision, and the arena itself bore witness to his defiance. The final section of the arena shuddered violently as Elias advanced, debris raining around him, energy barriers crackling and exploding from his strikes, every step a statement, every motion a defiance of the impossible. The crowd leaning forward, some screaming, some frozen in disbelief, none able to deny the magnitude of what they were witnessing. The human they had assumed weak had become a living force, bending the arena itself to his will. The princess leaned forward, hands gripping the edge of her dais, her voice caught somewhere between awe and disbelief. She had taunted him, mocked him, believed him to be ordinary, and now she understood that this human was extraordinary, a storm of strength, precision, and unyielding will, reshaping every obstacle, redirecting every hazard, standing unbroken amidst chaos, and she felt something unfamiliar stir within her. Admiration tinged with fear. Elias leaped across a collapsing floor, catching a spinning kinetic blade with his forearm, redirecting it into an energy column, sparks and debris cascading everywhere, the arena groaning under the pressure, engineers scrambling futilely to stabilize systems that were already failing under his assault, the crowd erupting in a mixture of awe, exhilaration, and terror. No champion had ever moved with such control, such raw power, such unstoppable force. He struck the next series of hazards with measured precision, sending spinning walls crashing into each other, energy fields dispersing, floors twisting, panels buckling, the arena trembling under the sheer magnitude of his strikes. And yet he moved with grace, calculating each motion, bending the impossible into demonstration, each blow reshaping the environment around him, a living embodiment of strength, skill, and unrelenting determination. The princess raised a hand, signaling another wave of tests, walls collapsing from opposite directions, spinning blades of energy descending unpredictably, kinetic traps moving in chaotic patterns, and yet he advanced calmly, striking, redirecting, leaping, the arena groaning in protest under every impact, the crowd watching in stunned silence, realizing they were witnessing something beyond legend, beyond myth, beyond comprehension, a human reshaping reality with sheer force. He struck a massive energy conduit with both fists, sending a shockwave that shattered nearby barriers, floors buckling, walls cracking, sparks flying in every direction, the chamber trembling as if the arena itself were alive. And still he advanced, moving through the chaos with unshakable calm, the very embodiment of determination and godlike strength. The crowd unable to look away, captivated, terrified, exhilarated by the display. The princess's voice cut through the chaos, sharp, melodic, daring, human. She called down, "Do you even realize what you are capable of?" He looked up at her, expression steady. "I know what I am capable of, and what is required." Her hands tightened on the railing, a flicker of fear passing through her features. She had underestimated him, assumed him weak, and now she knew this human was something beyond calculation, beyond control, beyond ordinary. The arena's systems groaned and screamed in protest, energy fields collapsing, walls twisting, floors cracking, structural supports bending under the strain. Yet he moved with calm precision, striking, redirecting, leaping, bending hazards to his will, the entire chamber becoming an extension of his strength, his skill, his unyielding will, every movement deliberate, every strike reshaping the impossible, the crowd holding its collective breath in awe and disbelief. He launched himself at a final massive energy wall, designed to crush, incinerate, and overwhelm simultaneously, fists colliding with energy, shockwaves rippling outward, debris scattering, structural panels collapsing, the arena shaking violently under the force. Yet he remained standing, unbroken, a single human against a chamber designed to destroy, bending the impossible into demonstration, godlike in power and control. The princess leaned forward, pale, wide-eyed, disbelief giving way to fascination. She had mocked him, assumed him ordinary, and now she understood the truth. This human was extraordinary, beyond comprehension, bending the arena to his will, surviving every hazard, reshaping every challenge, and she felt a mixture of fear, awe, and reluctant respect. the arena a testament to what humanity could achieve when ordinary assumptions were shattered. The crowd erupted as he struck the final barrier, sending a shockwave through the chamber, debris flying, sparks cascading, the arena trembling violently, walls cracking, floors collapsing, energy fields dissipating in blinding flashes, and still he stood, calm, collected, unstoppable, a living storm of strength, skill, and will. The spectators witnessing history, the impossible made real, the ordinary human revealed as godlike. The princess finally spoke, voice trembling with a mixture of fear and admiration. How are you capable of this? He met her gaze calmly. I endure, I adapt, I choose to stand. The words simple, yet carrying the weight of truth. She leaned back, realizing that her taunts had been meaningless, her tests irrelevant, for he had proven what one human could do when ordinary assumptions were shattered, bending the arena itself with sheer power. Elias moved toward the center of the arena, energy cascading around him, debris scattered, walls cracking, floors broken, the crowd erupting in awe, the princess silent, staring, disbelief and fascination mingling. She had mocked him, assumed him ordinary, and now the truth was undeniable. He was a living force, a storm, godlike in strength, control, and precision, the arena bearing witness to his defiance. The final shockwave rippled through the chamber as he struck the remaining hazards, the arena groaning, panels falling, energy conduits exploding, the crowd screaming in exhilaration, some covering their faces, others cheering uncontrollably. The princess leaning forward, hands gripping the edge, pale and wide-eyed, understanding that this human had transcended legend, myth, and expectation, a force no one could have imagined, a storm contained in a single body. He paused at the center, chest rising and falling evenly, eyes scanning, calm, collected, the arena around him shattered, energy dissipating, structural supports bent, floors cracked, walls twisted, and still he stood, the princess silent, staring, realization dawning fully. She had taunted him, mocked him, assumed him ordinary, and now she knew, the human before her was extraordinary, a godlike force reshaping reality with strength, skill, and will. The audience erupted again, cheers, gasps, screams mingling, engineers and overseers watching helplessly, unable to comprehend the scope of power displayed, the arena itself bearing witness, trembling, groaning, falling apart under the magnitude of one human's abilities. The princess leaning back, finally allowing herself to speak, voice trembling, human, you are beyond anything I imagined. He looked at her, expression calm, I am what I am, and I do what must be done. The arena shuddered one final time as he raised his fists, energy cascading around him, debris raining, walls cracking, floors collapsing, the crowd holding their collective breath, unable to look away, and then silence fell, heavy all laid in the arena in ruins, the human standing unbroken, godlike in his strength, control, and presence, the princess silent, finally understanding that she had witnessed something extraordinary, the impossible made real, and humanity revealed in its purest, most terrifying, most magnificent form. Elias stepped forward, surveying the ruined arena, chest rising and falling steadily, eyes calm, collected, the princess leaning forward, hands gripping the edge, silent, awestruck, and for the first time, she saw him not as a challenge, not as a spectacle, not as a human to be taunted, but as a force, a storm, a demonstration of what humanity could achieve when ordinary assumptions were shattered, bending the world itself to will and strength. The crowd erupted once more, applause, cheers, screams mingling, but Elias did not celebrate. He simply stood, calm, collected, surveying the destruction, the arena trembling around him, the princess silent, wide-eyed, understanding that this was no ordinary human, no ordinary combatant, but a living storm of strength, skill, and will, a godlike presence, reshaping the impossible into demonstration. The arena a testament to humanity's potential, and the princess finally realized the truth she could not deny.